Right now, you're sitting at a desk you have occupied for last 7 years. You are immensely proud of your tenure. You believe that your unwavering loyalty to the corporation is actively building an impenetrable safety net. You look at your resume, see a single company logo dominating the entire last decade of your life, and you think it signals stability, reliability, and executive potential to the outside world. You have been fed a catastrophic industrial era lie. You have been told by legacy HR departments that job hopping ruins your resume. But in the hyper-accelerated 2026 economy, staying at one company for a decade is absolute fastest, most mathematically certain path to your own professional. The traditional linear career path is definitely dead. The safety net you think you are meticulously weaving is actually a steel trap, slowly closing around your operational mobility. Before I completely dismantle the myth of the corporate loyalty, expose the exact mathematical danger of a 10-year-old tenure, and give you the precise architectural blueprint to build a highly lucrative AI-proof fractal career, hit the subscribe button and press the notification bell. I post daily videos showing you exactly how to navigate the global labor market using cold, hard engineering logic. You do not want to miss these execution protocols. What if I told you that the most highly compensated, unfireable apex operators in the global market today do not have a single static job title? They do not climb a single corporate ladder. They navigate a constantly shifting multidimensional pattern of micro roles. We are witnessing the absolute rise of a fractal career, a revolutionary operational model that ruthlessly prioritizes high-speed adaptability over long-term corporate loyalty. If you are not aggressively diversifying your skill set and shifting your operational environment every 18 months, you are violently bleeding your competitive edge in an economy that waits for no one. Grab a notebook. It is time to stop being a static employee and start operating as a dynamic fractal algorithm. Welcome back. I'm Dr. HR. To understand why my approach to the career architect and the human capital is aggressively different from the comforting, obsolete advice provided by traditional career counselors, you must understand my underlying structural logic. I hold a PhD in human resources, a bachelor's in computer engineering, and a master's in human resource. I do not look at your career as a romantic journey of corporate belonging. I look at it as a high-frequency trading portfolio. Operating on the ground here in Dubai since 2010, consulting for Tier 1 global entities, the data I analyze is completely unambiguous. The data is clear. The 10-year tenure is no longer a badge of honor. It is a massive financial and professional risk. As industries collide and AI reshapes the workforce, the fractal career models have emerged as the only way to stay relevant. Breaking your career into smaller, high-impact pieces is the ultimate strategy for the survival in the modern age. Let us systematically deconstruct this transition through 5 distinct phases: the tenure tax, the 18-month pivot, the Kaizen collision, the extraction phase, and the sovereign node. Phase 1, the tenure tax, the linear trap. We must first diagnose the exact insidious danger of staying in one physical and psychological place for too long. If you remain inside a single corporate ecosystem for a decade, you stop learning the mechanics of the global open market. You begin learning the highly localized mechanics of your specific boss's ego. You learn how to navigate the legacy software systems your company refused to update. You memorize the internal politics warfare of your specific department. This is highly specialized knowledge, but it is completely non-transferable. Imagine taking your entire life saving and investing it into a single highly volatile tech stock, refusing to diversify for 10 years because you feel an emotional loyalty to the ticker symbol. When that specific company inevitably crashes, or a competitor builds a better product, your loyalty does not save your portfolio. It completely destroys it. When you stay at a company for 10 years, your annual salary increases are typically capped at a standard 3 to 5% cost of living adjustment. Meanwhile, the external market rate for your exact skill might be increasing by 15 to 20% annually. Because you refuse to move, you're silently paying a massive compounding financial penalty every single year. You fall victim to the corporate echo chamber. Your cognitive processing speed physically atrophies because you are surrounded by exact same colleagues. executing the exact same processes, using the exact same paradigm year after year. Loyalty to a corporate entity is a rapidly depreciating asset. Loyalty to your own market value is the only compounding currency. Phase 2, the 18-month pivot, the speed of the market. To escape this compounding tax, you most fundamentally restructure how you view time. You must stop thinking in comfortable decades and start thinking in ruthless operational sprint. In the 2026 enterprise, 18 months is the exact mathematical window required to enter a new system, map its critical inefficiencies, deploy a massive structural solution, capture the measurable EBITDA, impact on your resume, and exit before the administrative stagnation sets in. Let us observe the mechanics of an apex operator executing the timeline. You do not spend 10 years hoping to become a branch manager at a financial institution. You spend 18 months inside a tier 1 entity like Emirates and BD, specifically executing high-stakes regulatory and financial remediation. Now, you step into the chaos, you map the complex broken compliances architecture that are bleeding the bank's capital. You secure the multi-million-dollar remediation metric on your ledger, proving your exact value in hard numbers. The exact moment the system stabilizes and work shifts from critical reconstruction to routine, daily maintenance, you do not stay and coast. You execute the pivot. You extract that elite financial compliance logic and immediately pivot into an entirely different sector. You force your brain to continuously adapt to the new environment, new compliances law, the new corporate culture. You are constantly acquiring fresh, highly relevant market data. More importantly, every time you execute this pivot, you do not accept a 3% raise. You negotiate a 20 to 30% market-adjusted premium. Your salary trajectory looks like a staircase of aggressive jumps rather than flat, measurable slope. View every job as a temporary extraction zone, not a permanent resident. Phase 3, the Kaizen collision, cross-disciplinary power. As you execute these rapid pivots across different organizations, something structurally profound happens to your professional identity. You stop being a generic, easily categorized specialist and you become a multidisciplinary weapon. If you're a traditional HR manager who has only ever managed payroll and disputes for 10 years, you are easily replaced by an autonomous AI agent. Your skill set is a single, easily commoditized line item. But the Fractal Career forces you to combine completely disparate operational frameworks. You do not just learn HR, you take the rigorous analytical frameworks you acquired during your stint in financial remediation. You combine them with your foundational LLB legal knowledge and you collide them with the human capital management. You deploy Lean Six Sigma methodologies and Kaizen continuous improvement principles directly into the corporate recruitment and onboarding pipeline instead of just managing people. You are a high-speed, waste-free operational matrix. You recognize that legacy applicant tracking systems are creating administrative bottlenecks. So you champion the transition to advanced integrated ERPs like Oracle SCM. You mathematically map the value stream, reduce the onboarding friction of new executives from 3 weeks to 3 days. When you possess the ability to collide financial rigor, legal compliance, and Lean Six Sigma efficiency into a single unified operational output running on Oracle SCM, you become algorithmic, impossible to replace. A standard AI can write a job description, but it cannot structurally re-engineer an entire corporate onboarding pipeline using cross-disciplinary Kaizen methodologies. Your value is not determined by the depth of a single isolated skill, but by a unique, unreplaceable collision of multiple domains. Phase 4, the extraction phase, sniper versus siege. To successfully manage a fractal career, you must completely change how you measure your own success inside an organization. You must shift your internal metric from a time served to verifiable value delivered. When you enter a new micro role, you are initiating the extraction phase. Amateurs walks into a new job and ask, how do I fit in? How do I make my boss like me so I can stay here for 5 years? They operate like a medieval siege engine, surrounding the castle, moving slowly and trying to serve out the competition through sheer longevity. Apex operator walk into a new role and ask, what is the single most expensive bleeding wound in this specific department and how fast Can I surgically close it? They operate like a sniper. You identify the high-value target immediately. You do not get bogged down in office politics. You do not attend meaningless building pizza party. You do not volunteer for a low-visibility administrative committees that drain your bandwidth. You focus 100% on your biological energy on the one structural project that will generate an undeniable, mathematically verifiable outcome. You deploy the new Oracle architecture. You rewrite the regulatory compliances code. You optimize the supply chain latency. The moment that project is successfully launched and the data proves you saved the company $2 million or increase efficiencies by 40%, the extraction is complete. You take that hard data, you bolt it onto your Fractal portfolio, and you immediately begin leveraging it to secure your next 18 months of pivot at a higher valuation. If you stay after the extraction is complete, you're trading your finite, highly valuable time for an illusion of comfort. You're allowing your newly sharpened skill to rust. Do not overstay your operational relevance. Extract the victory and exit the system. Phase 5. The sovereign node, multi-threaded income. The ultimate evolution of the fractal career is not just moving rapidly between the employer. The true apex state is realizing that relying on a single source of income, even if you change it every 18 months, is a critical systematic vulnerability. You must transition into a sovereign node. A fractal career means your income and your professional identity are fractured across multiple high-yield dimensions simultaneously. You do not just hold a corporate role. You build a decentralized portfolio of leverage. While you are executing your corporate sprint during the day, you are utilizing your legal and financial acumen to architect the alternative revenue streams. You operate in a highly lucrative UAE real estate sector, but you do not operate as a standard disparate broker chasing single commissions. You draft ironclad partnerships contract. You engineer the legal architecture to ensure a fair share between two partners, explicitly guaranteeing that even if one partner is temporarily unable to sell or list properties from their end, the revenue distributions remain mathematically equitable and legally protected. You secure your baseline through structural legal agreements, not just manual sales labor. Simultaneously, you scale your personal brand equity. You do not rely on a corporate title for authority. You build your own broadcasting empire. You utilize high-fidelity Cineline gear like a Sony FX2 camera, a color-graded flawlessly in DaVinci Resolve 20 to produce elite structural video content. For example, Dr. HR channel. You broadcast your operational dominance directly to the global market, creating inbound leverage. You are a corporate strategist, a legal architect in real estate, and a high-fidelity digital media entity all at once. If your corporate employer attempts to force a toxic mandate or freeze your salary, do not panic. Your real estate contracts and your digital media equity provides absolute unshakable stability. You are not an employee begging for a retention, you are a sovereign node choosing where to allocate your bandwidth. Total professional security is never granted by an employer. It is engineered through relentless multi-threaded diversification. Look closely at the professional around you who is boasting about their 10 years anniversary. Look at their operational speed. Look at their compensation relative to the current market. Look at their profound, paralyzing fear of artificial intelligence algorithms that are preparing to consume their department. They built a linear path in a fractal universe, and the mathematics of the modern economy will not spare them. The era of corporate loyalty is a relic of industrial age. Do not sacrifice your cognitive sharpness and your financial trajectory to a company that will replace you the moment their quarterly profits dip. Embrace the fractal careers, refuse to pay the tenure tax, execute the 18-month pivot, collide your cross-disciplinary skills, extract the high-impact data, and build a multi-threaded architecture of a completely sovereign node. The market belongs exclusively to the adaptable. Process the data, execute the strategy, and I'll see you at the top.